Welcome, welcome to session 8. We are kicking off with a fantastic keynote. This is from Sheena Whyatt. It's called Why You Need a Book of Brain. What's it all about? Well, it's time to stop faffing and start doing. Sheena's going to be sharing with us how to implement her unique focused planning system to help you get out of the endless planning cycle and into a productivity cycle that gets you results fast. That's why you need a book of brain, and that's why we have got Sheena.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Keith. Yes, indeed, this afternoon I am going to get you to stop faffing and start doing. One of the things that I am very good at, if you like, is the power of a list. I do love a nice list. Give me a pile of Sharpies and a Post-it note and I'm a happy girl. But there is a very big difference between doing a lot of planning and doing a lot of doing. And we quite often get in this horrible circle and cycle of just going round and round with plans. And newsflash number one, your lack of productivity that is holding you, your brand and your business back. I want to share with you my planning system, the thing that I use to keep KAPOW and efforts in my life on the road. The planning system that I use to make sure that I am getting stuff done. That's really, really important. And the first thing that you have got to recognize is that you are your own worst enemy. I'm afraid so. There is no easy way to say that. There's no sugarcoating. It's your fault. You've just got to suck it up, buttercup, and then have a think about how you are going to put those things right. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you, and if you're watching live, great, lob it in the chat. If you're not, you're watching this on replay, have a little think, is what do you think is the biggest thing holding you back from being productive in your business right now? Just have a little think about that. Because there's going to be something that is holding you back from being productive. There's going to be a reason that you keep telling yourself, or you keep recognizing that you think, yep, that's the nugget. That's the thing that's holding me back. It's that thing. And if you've just sat there and thought, oh, it's then if you're watching live, lob it in the chat. If you're not watching live, if you're watching it on replay, write it down on a little bit of paper. I'll tell you why in a bit. So what is the thing that is holding you back from being productive in your business right now? What is the thing that is becoming a bit of a tire, if you like, around your neck? A weight that's holding you back? The first thing that you need to recognize is what the damn hell that is. So it's coming in the chat now live. I'm going to pick up a few of these, and absolutely distraction. Oh, here we go. It's squirrel time, isn't it? The whole kind of, oh, I've got loads of stuff to do, but that looks more interesting. So I'm going to go and do that thing. Yeah, distraction is a big, big key. Exhaustion, bless you. Yeah, that helps as well, but is something you can think about working around. A lack of clarity. Overwhelmed with so many things to do. I didn't pay these people to put these things in the chat, by the way, but by golly, they are running my bingo list like nothing else, because this is all the stuff that I talk to people when I talk to people about my planning system. Because we all fall into the trap of feeling like planning is achieving something. We think that making that list of things we have to do is somehow doing it, except it isn't. Planning is exactly that. It's just planning. But you've got to make sure that you accept the truth of the matter is that planning doesn't achieve anything at all without action, prioritizing, and effective goal setting. So it's coming at you like Cleopatra. Buckle up. Here we go. My tips for helping you avoid planning overwhelm, calming your mind monkeys, and getting things to start to happen. So here we go. Here's the first thing. When you think about what the biggest thing is that's holding you back from being productive in your business, and of course, right now we now have a massive sun coming right in my eye just there, so I'm not winking at you, I'm squinting. You also then have to think about how productive you think you are, because quite a lot of us are so busy being busy, and we think that being busy is brilliant and that being busy is also achieving something, and yet we're being busy fools. So when you're thinking about what is the thing that's holding me back from being productive in my business, some of the responses today, getting distracted, not feeling on top form, being a bit knackered. Yeah, I can relate to that one. A lack of clarity, overwhelmed with so many things to do, or underwhelmed by a lack of instant success. What I'm going to share with you this afternoon is not going to give you a magic wand for any of that stuff. But what it is going to do is to give you some ideas about how you work your way out of it. The first before we even start doing anything about systems and planning systems of basically getting a grip, is recognizing when you are at your most productive. Whenever I talk about this, I always laugh at myself, because I sit there and I think, why in God's name did I join a networking organization 11 and a half years ago that only did breakfast meetings that started at 8 o'clock in the morning? Because I am so not a morning person. No. I am not a morning person. In fact, my husband affectionately calls me a morning Grinch. It does not float my boat. I'm a night owl. So I am up till, the stars are out, and I am not up with the lark. Now, what does that mean? Why is it important? It is pointless for me to try and do anything productive for my business in the morning because I am not firing on all 4 cylinders. It's pointless. What do I do if I try and make myself doing something productive when I'm not in my productive place of mind? I distract myself. I procrastinate. I faff about. I work from home, as many of us do, certainly in the last 18 months. I find a whole shitload of other things to do than the stuff I should be doing because I am not in the right frame of mind to be productive. So before you even start putting my system into place, what I want you to think about is, when do you feel like you are at your most productive in your day? When it just suddenly feels like all the synapses are just firing, when you think, hell yeah, I am doing stuff here, you need to know when that is. For me, it is not in the morning. So I do different things at that time in my day to work to that strength. And I'll refer to that when I start to take you through the tips. So these tips are for you. This system is for you if you feel like you are consistently planning but not doing. You find that all you're doing is focusing on the easy stuff. And the stuff that's slightly more difficult or that you don't really want to do is continually just sort of sitting there on your shoulder, nagging at you. You feel like you're constantly firefighting the same things in your business. All the time, the same stuff every day. And most importantly, that you find you have endless task creep. They go on your list of stuff to do time and time and time again, and you just never get shit done. Well, here we go. The first tip that I have for you, the first step for you to take control of all this stuff, to stop faffing and start doing and being productive for your business, is to do a brain dump. Some of you may have heard me talk about this before, but it's a really important first step, because part of the reason why we get easily distracted, why we get overwhelmed, is there is so much stuff going on up here, we just don't know how to filter it. And so we're trying to do all of it at the same time. Now, for me, I run 3 businesses, a household, a 52 and a bit year old pilot, which is like having a 52-year-old child, and a 12 and a half year old ancient dog, cat, aged peas, all that sort of stuff. We all have a lot of stuff that's going on around running our business, and that clouds our minds. That's what's starting to get that clarity and focus. It makes it foggy. It makes it difficult for us to see through the wood to the trees. So when I'm talking about doing a brain dump, I mean everything. If you're sitting there thinking, I need to take the cat to the vet, that is going to be part of your brain dump. So what you need to do is get rid of every other distraction around you. Okay, I like to do this generally at the end of a day, if I'm honest. Well, if I'm really honest, I tend to do this at the end of the day with a very large glass of wine, but hey ho, that's me. But you need to make sure that you have no other distractions going on. Now, if you're somebody who likes music in the background because that helps you concentrate, do that. But don't be sat in front of your computer, put your phone on silent, let your brain focus on doing the brain dump. Get all the stuff that's rolling around in your head out of your brain and onto paper, a spreadsheet, a whiteboard, a Trello board, whatever floats your boat, whatever you like to work in. I don't care what that is. You just need to get it out there. Every single last thing. Every bit. Dry cleaning. Yep, that goes on the list. Buy milk. Yep, that goes on the list. Need gin. Yep, that goes on the list. Every single thing that is floating around in your head, you need to get it out of your head, put it on a piece of paper or whatever you decide to use. But then the most important thing is you put that list away for a little while. That's why I tend to do mine in the evening. I get that brain dump happening. I do the brain dump. I put that list away. I don't see it until the next day. And that separation from that brain dump list is really, really important. Because if you do the brain dump and then you immediately look at it, all you're going to do is to send your brain right back into overwhelm mode. Because all your brain is going to do is to look at this brain dump list and think, holy moly, mother of God, land of gosh and heaven to Betsy, I haven't got time to do any of that. So it just doesn't. You know what I mean? Procrastinators unite later. You know what I mean. You just sit there and think, it's too difficult. I just won't do anything. I'll find something easy to do. I'll go make a cup of tea. Squirrel. You know it. So all out of your head, get it onto paper or whatever you're going to do, then leave it for a while. Don't leave it more than overnight. It still needs to be fresh, but you need to give your brain a little bit of space, because what you're then going to do is you're going to come back to that brain dump and you're going to start to go through it, and you're going to start to mark out specific areas of your life and business, which sounds terribly, terribly clever and very, very businessy, but it's really very simple. The first thing that you're going to do before you look at the rest of your list is you're going to look at all the domestic stuff. And you're going to look at all the domestic stuff. What I tend to do is I mark that with a little star on my list, which is generally on a notepad that has a margin down one side, because all those little domestic things that are starred, take the cat to the vet, buy wine, etc., you're going to take those and you're going to put those to one side. That immediately lets your brain go, right, there's all the life stuff over there. Brilliant. I can focus on the life stuff when I've got finished focusing on this. Life plan. Excellent. Good. Buy milk. Well done, me. Pat on the head. Okay. Then you come back to that brain dump list and you start going through it again. The first thing that you start doing on that list is you go through that list and you mark every single item that is a money-making task for your business as a number one task. Now, when I'm talking about a money-making task, I'm not talking about somebody literally going, have all my money, Sheena. I'm not talking about the sales transaction. I'm talking about all the things that get people to want to buy from you. I'm talking about all the things that you need to be doing in your business to keep your business visible, to keep your business in the front of people's minds, to make sure that your business is not just talking to your existing customers, but that you're also communicating with your potential new customers, that you're communicating with your target market, your super customer. So all the things that could make money for your business need to be a number one task. That can include networking, content creation, follow-up, keep in touch marketing, all that stuff, the stuff that basically helps you take the hand of your customer or potential customer and be with them every step of the way as you walk them from coming in your virtual shop right the way to where the till is. All that stuff, all that shizzle, all that stuff that you know you should be doing, you need to mark those down as number ones. Then you go back through the list again. And this time you have a look at all the routine stuff that you need to be doing for your business to be a business. The routine stuff that keeps your business going, paying your suppliers, raising your invoices, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I get it. It's not sexy, but you know, it's important. It's essential. It's the nuts and bolts. I call it the grunt work that keeps your business functioning as a business. You go through that brain dump list again and you mark all of those out. Then what you're left with is the stuff that starts to get exciting. And I'm going to tell you what that is now, and then we're going to come back and focus on those in a few minutes' time. So what's left are your medium term and your long-term goals and ambitions for your business. You've gone through that brain dump list and you've identified all the stuff you need to be doing to get eyes on your business, your money-making stuff. Brilliant. You've gone through it and you've marked out all the routine stuff that makes your business a business. Even better. Now you're going to go back and look at it again. And this time what you're looking for are your medium-term goals and ambitions for your business. This is the stuff that you know you could do if you basically did more of the 1 and 2 stuff first. This is the stuff that I call the low-hanging fruit for your business. This is the stuff that gets eyes on the prize quickly and easily with a modicum of effort from you. This is the stuff that you keep meaning to do. This is the stuff that you keep moving from task list to task list because you just don't quite get round to it, you know, that stuff. You mark all that stuff down as a number 3. Okay, your medium-term goals and ambitions for your business, you mark those down as a number 3. Then what you're left with is the holy ass butt, squeaky bum excitement moments, which are your big goals and ambitions for your business. The, oh my God, stuff that makes you just get excited. The stuff that makes you think, yes, global domination will be mine by next year. That stuff. The stuff that fires you up. The stuff that ignites your passion for your business. Basically, the stuff that made you get started in the first place. The stuff that made you think, hell yeah, I can do this self-employment shit. It doesn't look that hard. It's that stuff. It's your big term goals and ambitions. And by doing the brain dump process, what this allows your poor little overworked brain to do is compartmentalize. And then we're going to help it do that even more. So do your brain dump, go through it, don't overthink it, have no distractions, but mark through your 1, 2, 3s and 4s. And then we're going to start to focus on the 1s and 2s to begin with. How many of you start your day by creating a to-do list? Give me a little wave if you're watching live. How many of you start your day with a to-do list? Well done. How many of you think you should be starting your day with a to-do list but don't? How many of you are just ruddy winging it? Okay. One of the things that we do by creating a to-do list is we immediately put ourselves under pressure. Because using that phrase, these are the things I have to do, immediately puts you under pressure and your brain starts thinking, haven't got time to do all of that, got all this other stuff going on. Your poor little brain and the mind monkeys start to head towards panic mode. Okay, you need to ditch the to-do list, ditch it completely. What you need is a focus list. What you need is a daily focus sheet, something like this, so that your brain immediately has a different approach to what you're doing. Today, I am going to focus on this. Not today, I have all this stuff to do, panic. No, today, I am going to focus on this stuff. So whether you choose something like this, or you have, scrap paper, or you have whatever it is, don't care. You need a daily focus sheet. Because what's important to start making inroads into productivity is creating an achievable focus. Excuse me. So you need a daily focus sheet of some description, and then you need to make sure that you use it. So the best way to start thinking about using a daily focus sheet is to actually create it the night before the next day. Because then your brain feels like it's organized for the next morning. I'm not going to come into my home office, my office, or whatever, and think, what have I got to do? I get distracted by social media. I forget the stuff. No, do it the night before. Now, what I do with my daily focus sheet is I make sure that I'm doing money-making tasks for my business every single day. So do you. You need to make sure you're doing that. But what you'll see here on my daily focus list is this is not like a chapter of War and Peace. I've got 5 money-making tasks on my focus list to focus on each day. Just 5. Some days I don't even have 5 on there. But by keeping that chunk small, again, it stops those mind monkeys, the overwhelm ogres from going, you're not going to be able to get all this done. It stops that happening. So have a daily focus sheet. Make sure you are doing money-making tasks for your business every single day, but break that down into small chunks. Give yourself the ability to tick them off, because gosh, that feels good, doesn't it? So don't overwhelm yourself by going, I have 15 things that I must do. It's like, all right, okay, hang on a minute. What needs to happen today to keep eyes on my business? They are my number 1 tasks. I identified those on my brain dump sheet. I need to make sure I'm doing those every day. They go on the top of your focus list. When you've done those, you then list, what are the routine tasks I need to do today for my business? What are the things that keep my business being a business? And what of those do I need to do today? I'm going to take those off my brain dump list, and I'm going to put those in the second part of my focus for today. Then I'm going to get my head down and I'm going to get those done. This is why knowing when you're productive is important. Because if you look at that and you're like me, and in the morning, productivity is not great, I'm going to do the routine stuff because it doesn't involve the creative side of my brain. It doesn't involve me having to interact, socialize, and be on fire and sparkle. I can just get on and get it done. So I do that when I'm not in my productive space. And you know what's really great is by the time you start working like that, the routine stuff, in my case, gets done. That makes me feel good because then I'm not worrying about it. The stuff that's making my business a business is happening. Once you get into that habit, it becomes exactly that. Once you get into the habit of thinking, right, what things am I going to do today to get eyes on my business? Am I going to create some content? Am I going to write a blog? Am I just going to do some keep in touch marketing? Am I, shock horror, going to pick up the phone and actually talk to somebody? Do you know, it's amazing. You can do that. It's crazy. But you're thinking about that and your mind is clear. And you're thinking about, when am I productive? That's a better time to start thinking about creating content. So I'm going to do that then, when I'm on fire, when I'm feeling like I've got stuff to share. So anything that keeps you visible in your money-making tasks needs to be your number one priority. Anything that is routine, that gets your business to be a business, needs to be your number two priority. They are your number 1 and 2 tasks on your daily focus sheet from your brain dump. Awesome. And if you go ahead and do that, by the time that you've done those tasks on your sheet, underneath here is where we start to look at those medium and long-term goals, because now you have space to do that. But what's really interesting is that will also help you identify why your task creep is starting to happen. Because when you put your routine tasks into a daily focus sheet, and you've got 2 or 3, maybe 5, and you start to recognize that there are 1 or 2 of those routine tasks that you are forever pushing into the next day. You know, the whole kind of, yeah, well, you know what, I'm not going to do that today, I'll do it tomorrow. And you'll find a reason why that's okay, won't you? Well, you know, it's nearly 3 o'clock. Do you know what? No, I'm not. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it in the morning. Oh, I haven't got everything I need. I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, it's Wednesday. It's a day with a Y in it. I'll do it next week. You know, there's always a reason. And that task creeps. What a daily focus sheet will allow you to look at is where that pattern is. And it will then allow you to identify why that is holding you back in your business. Why that task creep is holding your productivity back. Because the fact that you're not doing it doesn't mean it doesn't need to be done. Now, here's a newsflash for you. You know that book that we all get given when we start our self-employment journey? You know, that one that the universe puts in our hand that goes, here is the manual, Sheena, about how to be self-employed. You know the one with the chapter in that says you don't have to wear all the hats? That one? Yeah, no, me neither. We get that mindset, we think we have to do everything. And what that can quite often mean is we end up doing nothing well. When you see task creep happening repeatedly on your focus list, look at what the task is. Then ask yourself the very genuine question, why do I keep avoiding this? Why do I keep avoiding doing this task? There's going to be one of 2 very clear reasons. I just don't want to, stamp foot tantrum, or I don't know how to, wobbly lip, suck thumb, find happy place. It's going to be one or the other. It's either a task you simply don't want to do because it makes you want to stick pins in your eyes, or it's a task you don't want to do because you don't know how. At that point, you have got to be realistic. You have got to take a step back and think, well, if I'm not going to do it, who the hell is? And the answer is somebody else. That is when you start thinking about outsourcing. And what you've got to make your mind do at that point, your brain, is go, stop thinking about the cost of outsourcing and start thinking about the value it adds to your business. Because if that task is continually creeping through your focus sheet to the point where it then gets to a, gee, I've got to do this. Oh, I've left it so long and now it's urgent and vital and I still don't want to, and I'm still going to make 6 cups of tea. It's going to take you 3 hours to do something that somebody else could do in half that time. Ask yourself this question. What are you best at in your business? How much is that worth to your business? How much is it worth to your business for you to add value by doing more of what you're best at? And passing those tasks on that you don't want to do to somebody who's best at those tasks. Because that is an investment in your business. It's not a cost, it is an investment. Because then those routine tasks get done. Those routine tasks start to happen. You get clarity. You now are able to start to see through the wood to the trees. Because you are focused on the money-making stuff for your business. You are focused on the routine tasks that you want to do, and you have outsourced the routine tasks that you don't want to do, and the relief of doing that and thinking, no, I can just crack on, is absolutely palpable. So if you're not outsourcing, get a grip, sort yourself out. There are loads of people through your own personal networks who will be able to help you. So ask for help. There is no law that says as a self-employed business owner, you can't do that. When you're going through your daily task list, make sure that you've got a nice little reward when you've done your 1s and 2s. Doesn't have to be anything super exciting. It could just be, for me, for example, a walk around an unexpectedly very sunny garden. You need to have a little break and a little yay me, pat on the back stuff, because now we get into the exciting stuff. You've done your number 1 tasks. You've done your number 2 tasks. You're feeling good about your business because you've done those things you need to do. Now you get a chance to grow your business, because that's why we're here, isn't it? We don't want our businesses to stay stagnant. We don't want our businesses to be going round and round the same little hamster wheel all the time. We want our businesses to grow, and everybody's idea of business growth and success is different. And that's what makes it so exciting. Some people do want global domination. Some people simply don't, and that's fine. But every one of us has an ambition for where we want to go. But so many of us don't get that ambition any further than, oh, I've got an exciting idea, because we're too busy sweating the freaking small stuff because we don't have a focused planning system. Well, now you do. You've got your number 1 and your number 2 tasks nailed. You've got your daily focus sheet that you're going to work on. When you've done that, now you have the chance to engage with the dreams for your business. And this is why you need a book of brain, because your brain can only do so much at one time. You might think you're multitasking, but you're not. What you're actually doing is a lot of things badly. And by being able to train your brain to go number 1 tasks, number 2 tasks, it can focus on those tasks. You get more clarity, less overwhelm, and guess what? You get more stuff done. But you also need to allow your brain to start to explore those ideas. So your book of brain is where your number 3 tasks go. Your book of brain is where you put those medium-term tasks for your business. Your book of brain is where you allow your brain to play. You allow your brain to play by collating all of your medium-term stuff in one place. This is one of many books of brain I have. This scares people because this is kind of what the inside of my brain looks like. It's a collection of post-it notes and all kinds of things, because that's kind of what the inside of my brain looks like. And that's why I put it in here. Because blimey, if I was trying to do all that stuff as well as function, I would drop the ball every day. I would be dropping the ball all the time. So your medium-term plans go in that book of brain, the number 3. Because what that means on your daily focus is when you focused on your number 1 and your number 2 tasks, you dip into the book of brain. You think, right, I've got time. Let me pick up your book of brain and have a look. By keeping it all in one place and being able to dip into it when you've completed your other focus tasks, it becomes a safe place, really, for you to plan and rework and then sometimes ditch ideas altogether. That happens to me quite a lot. I'll open up my book of brain and I'll have a look at something and I'll think, Sheena, what were you thinking? That is an absolutely crap idea. Okay, let's tear that page out of the book and throw that away, because it's just not going to work. But what it does then let me do is think, actually, do you know what? That one looks like that could have legs. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that idea from my book of brain and I'm going to move it onto that part of my daily focus sheet. This is the book of brain idea I'm going to have a look at this afternoon or in the morning, whenever you're at your most productive. I'm going to get it out of the book of brain and I'm going to put it on my daily focus list. And what I'm then going to do on my daily focus list is think, right, what do I need to do to start to make that book of brain task happen? Little tick list. Okay. So I'm starting to think about what I need to make that happen. Guess what? Those little tick lists start to move up here. Is this a routine task actually that's just not, I've not realized it's routine. And if I make it routine, I can start to make it happen. Is this actually a money-making task? I could just, if I just basically got on with it, I could get on with it and do it. You know, it goes from here to here because you can see it, and you can visualize it and you think, okay, so if that's the idea, what do I need to do? Now I can start to make it happen. Because if that is a great book of brain idea, guess what? It's going to make money for your business. It's either going to increase your visibility or it's going to increase your client base. What's not to love? And by having that all in one place, you can dip in and out, a safe place to plan and to rework and to sometimes throw stuff away, and giving your brain permission to start to think bigger picture. It's starting to think about where you want your business to go. It starts to help you bring that idea, that kind of, oh, I could do that, into focus, into that focus daily list, which means you'll start to get things done. And that feels good. That feels good, not just for your business, but it feels good for you personally as well. I am starting to move these things forward. I am starting to look at how my business can grow. I am looking to start at the things that I can do to make that growth happen. Do you know what? I'm making progress. I am starting to see things happen in my business. That feels good. And who doesn't want to feel good? So you're thinking about that kind of stuff. Book a brain, dip into that. But I haven't talked about the number 4 tasks yet. What happens with those? What happens with those big ideas for your business? Well, that's when you need to think about having a wall of brain. Yeah, a wall of brain. You did hear me right. You need one of these too. Now, my my wall of brain is scary. If you thought the book of brain was bad, oh boy, the wall of brain in my office sits just there. And no, I am not going to turn the camera around and show you, because when I did that to my absolutely fantastic marketing VA, she nearly had a heart attack because it was like, oh my God, is that what the inside of your brain looks like? Yes. Yes, it is. My wall of brain is a sea of post-it notes and all sorts of other things. But why do I say you need a wall of brain? It's the last part of letting your brain focus on where you want to go with your business. Because if you're trying to rattle around life, routine stuff for your business, money-making tasks for your business, medium-term business growth, long-term business growth, that is a lot for one brain to take on at any one time. And frankly, have a life. By starting to separate and compartmentalize the focus, you let your brain concentrate solely on those bits. So by having your book of brain for your medium-term tasks, think, right, okay, this is the stuff I could do. Frankly, if I just got a bit of a grip and got on with it, right, let's do it. What do I need to do next? What are the first steps? The wall of brain is where you can start to brainstorm and mind map all of the big ideas that you have for your business. For me, that's where the post-it notes come in. It's like, oh, I've just thought about this thing that I want to do for my business. Oh, great, right, slap that on the wall. It's the socially acceptable equivalent of grabbing spaghetti and throwing it at the wall, seeing if it sticks. So, you know, grab and I stick that on the wall, and then I think, right, okay, where's that going? I could do this, I could do that. Bing, 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 bing. I should have shares in post-it notes, frankly, but, you know, anybody wants to donate. And then I can leave that on the wall. Why is that important? Well, every time that I come in and out of my working space, I see that wall of brain. Every time that I walk into my home office, I see all the big ideas that I have got for my business. I see all the big ambitions that I have for my business. I see all the stuff that makes me go, oh, hell yeah, let's do this stuff. I see that stuff. It is invigorating. It is inspiring, but it also means that I get to look at it all the time and think, hang on, that actually is a really crap idea. Or I might think, I maybe not quite right to do that. Or I'll look at that wall and think, yep, you know what? I'm going to start to work on that. That then goes into my book of brain. That is the idea. That is the big idea that I think, yep, okay, I'm ready to focus on that one now. Slap, that goes in the book. Then I get to look at that when I'm doing that on my daily focus sheet and think, okay, is that idea, is that little potential golden nugget, is that going to fly? Maybe not right now, but I'll come back to it. But it's come off the wall of brain. It's gone into the book of brain. Very satisfying. Compartmentalization. Lets your brain focus. Can't say the word. Lets your brain focus as you go through it. It lets you look at the big picture for your business, and it lets you see where you want your business to go. It lets you see the focus that you have for your business. It lets you see the ambition that you have for your business. It lets you visualize it, it lets you inspire you, and it lets you make decisions. That was a really, really rubbish idea. Must have had 2 gins and you can get rid of it. But your wall of brain is important for another very, very important reason. When we're playing and spinning all the hats, wearing all the hats even, and spinning all the plates, quite often we will lose focus. And one of the ways that we lose focus is we allow other people and other elements of our lives to take our focus away from who we are and what we do best. Social media is a great thing. Social media is a great way for people to connect, communicate, and for business owners to share their story, their product, their service, etc. But it is also one of the worst things for mindset. We all have those days when we're not just feeling it, you know? You get up and instead of thinking, Okay, Friday, I'm ready for you. You wake up and think, yeah, do you know what, Friday, you can do one. You have one of those. You have a meh day, a day when, frankly, you're just not firing on all 4 cylinders. You really can't be asked, and you're a bit down in the dumps. We all have those days, don't we? That's when social media becomes the worst mind monkey and your worst enemy. Because what you'll find is that you start to see other people's posts and you start to judge yourself against them. Everybody else is perfect, aren't they? Everybody else has got a perfect life. Everybody else has got a fantastic business. Everybody else is filling their workshops. They're overwhelmed with new clients. They're so freaking successful, it makes you want to puke, doesn't it? Because you are not in that space. You are not having a good day. You are sitting there thinking, I don't know why I'm doing this. In fact, I think I might stop. I don't think I'm good enough. Everybody else is doing this better than me. What am I doing wrong? Social media in particular is an absolute bugger for that. So your wall of brain is not just about getting your big ideas and your ambitions for your business out there so that you can visualize them, focus on them, and start to move them from just being dreams to being goals to being targets, and then having got it done. It's also an affirmation space for you. My wall of brain is not just covered with post-it notes about the great ideas I've got for my business. My wall of brain is also full of stuff, some of which I'm going to share with you now, that reminds me of the things that make me happy, the things that remind me of what I have achieved, the things that remind me of testimonials for clients, life events, their photographs, their postcards, they're all kinds of things. So on my wall of brain, I have things like this: thank you cards from clients telling me how I've helped them and what difference that's made to them and their business. Let me tell you, people, the power of getting something like that through the post, that telling you that you've made a difference to somebody. Do not underestimate the power of the postcard. It's really fabulous. Makes you feel good. So I'm going to keep hold of those things, and they're up on my wall of brain. These are things that remind me that I do make a difference to people who choose to work with me. That's fantastic. So they go up there on the wall of brain. I have photographs that remind me of things that make me happy or that I have achieved. Me and my husband, I'm 19, he's 21. Oh my God, that was just after our first date. Ah, children. So I have a look at that because that makes me happy. Fast forward 4.5 years, because it took him that long to work out that he should have done the right thing beforehand. That is me standing in front of a Wessex helicopter. In the cockpit of that Wessex helicopter is my husband. We have just flown that together in Northern Ireland. Did I ever think I was going to fly a helicopter? No, just don't look too closely at how many times they had to roll the legs up on that flying suit, because I am that short. The first time that I got to go in a stretch limo with my very good friend and the mother of my godson, who now, weirdly enough, lives 2 miles down the road. How cool is that? That's when we were at RAF Odium. That was just before I sent my husband to war for the first time. That is a very special picture. Those things remind me of things that make me happy. I also have achievement reminders. This is the invitation that I received to the IT Training Awards in 2011, as you can see. The date on this card is Thursday, the 3rd of February, 2011. Thursday, the 3rd of February, 2011 was the day before I had my penultimate chemotherapy treatment for stage 2 breast cancer. So that means a lot to me. Oh, and I won, by the way, and I won for the next 2 years as well. I have this on my wall of brain. This is my discharge letter from the cancer unit at York Hospital. That was last year, 25th of September. That actually happens to be my husband's birthday. So just under a year ago, I was discharged from the cancer care unit. That letter means a lot to me. Last year, I also turned 50, and my husband did this. He arranged for me to go and fly in a Spitfire over the White Cliffs of Dover. I think you can see I was pretty happy about that. My cheeks hurt for about 3 days afterwards. I honestly could not stop. But as the daughter of an RAF fighter pilot, the granddaughter of an RAF bomber pilot, and the wife of an RAF pilot, that is life goals stuff. That is once in a lifetime stuff. And do you know what all of this stuff does? On those days when those mind monkeys are sitting on your shoulders and going, what the hell are you doing? You're not good enough. Look at all these people doing this better than you. Looking at all these people who are more successful than you. Look at all these people who are more achieving more than you. Your wall of brain allows you to come in and look at it and every day recognize you are enough. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sheena. Thank you for a really interesting, fascinating discussion there. Thank you for sharing with us your unique focus planning system and giving us an insight into how we can really focus and move forward, and the importance of having things that remind us of what's important to us, remind us of what we're doing this for, and remind us that we are good at this. Fantastic. Those of you who are attending this live, of course, you get the privilege of being able to ask Sheena questions. So we've got time for a couple of quick questions. If anyone has a question, if you use the raise hand thing on Zoom, or if you pop your question into the chat, we will do our very best to get them answered for Sheena. There's some great comments in the chat, people finding this really useful, really inspiring. Just while people are thinking of a question, I've got one quick question for you, Sheena, and it's more just to clarify for me the difference between them. So we've got our medium-term goals, which go in the Book of Brain, and our long-term, which go on the Book of Wall, the Wall of Brain. Even Book of Wall will be something completely different. What's kind of the difference between a medium and long-term thing? How do you decide which one they should go in? Is there any kind of rule, or is it just this feels like it should go there, this feels like it should go there?
It's a good question, because it's a little bit of both. You will have a task where when you write it down, again, it's part of the ownership thing. When you put it in the Book of Brain, sometimes your brain will go, why am I putting this in here? I could just do it. In which case you can very quickly put it onto your focus sheet and then just get it done. But it's what I call the medium term, is the stuff that is the low-hanging fruit for your business, the stuff that doesn't require you to do a huge amount to take it from being an idea into being something that you can focus on. The Wall of Brain, I suppose if you wanted to scope it, you could think that Book of Brain is maybe the 6 to 12 month ideas, maybe, and the Wall of Brain is the 3 to 5 year stuff, that kind of thing. It's flexible depending on your mindset, because you can throw something on the Wall of Brain, come past it another day and think, actually, I could do that, because you're allowing, those different levels of focus. Your brain think, actually, that doesn't need to stay up there. That's achievable now. Let's move it. Let's start bringing it down that step into that process and taking you from there. So, medium term, I would say things that could happen if only a few things needed to happen to get it going. And then the Wall of Brain longer term, there's more that needs to happen until you get there.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. And I also like the way they can move backwards and forwards. That as your brain start processing goes, actually, ... I love that. We've got time for one final quick question. I am going to bring in where are we? I'm going to bring in Rafiat, who has a question for us. Rafiat, your question.
Hi, Sheena, that was brilliant. Now, the question I have for you is, where you have somebody, I'll use me, that has several plates you're juggling, do they all come into the same, or can you just use the same book, the same wall, or is it better to have them separate in terms of, for this part of me, yeah, this is where I want to go. For this part of me, this is where I want to go. But actually, they do interlink.
They do.
But not necessarily equal priority.
Absolutely. It's a really good question. And the way I do that, I do this in one of two ways. I do have multiple books, but mostly I try and plan in one. I use different colours. Okay. So, if it's something to do with, the main part of my business, I'll write that in a particular color. If it's something that I want to do for, a different element, that helps me visually compartmentalize it. And I'm afraid I am sad enough that I use different colored Post-it notes as well. That helps. I did say my habit was legendary, because that just helps me keep it in different streams. So if you're visual like me, think about using color. And or multiple books, although the multiple book bit gets expensive.
Yes, it probably does. Yes, yes. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And we've got time for one final, very, very quick, brief question from David, who also had his hand up. David, your question.
Brilliant presentation, Sheena, as always. but you've forgotten one thing. Apart from having your book and the other bits and pieces, what we actually need to be successful is to be accountable to somebody else who's outside your business. And I find working with you, Sheena, and that's not a plug just for you, but you are brilliant, helps me because you remind me when we come back the following month, what haven't I done in the month? Which means you have to really focus your attention. So thank you.
Yeah, and it's a great point. You know, having an accountability buddy coach is great, but also that focus sheet allows you to self-accountabilize, because you'll see the stuff that you're letting creep, and then you know where you need some help. So yeah, it's a good point.
Awesome. Thank you so much for an amazing talk, Sheena. People who want to get in touch, want to find out a bit more, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Best way for them to get in touch would be for me to drop some contact details into the chat window, which I shall just do any second now. I thought I had it open, but I didn't. So I'll prop that in there. Yeah, best way to get in touch is just to use what I'm going to drop in the chat, and you know, get in touch, and let's see if we can help each other.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sheena. That has been incredibly informative, very interesting, very useful. Lots of people are commenting in the chat. They're going to rewatch this on catch up. I think this is going to be a video which is going to repay lots of reviewing. Thank you so much, Sheena. That was fantastic. That's the end of Sheena's keynote. If you're catching this on the replay, then in the very next video, you're going to be able to see Alison Mead, who's sharing with us some bookkeeping basics. That's coming up in the next video.